Arc fault circuit interrupter breakers, also known as AFCI breakers, are designed to protect against electrical fires caused by arcing faults. These faults can occur when damaged or deteriorated wiring creates unintentional electrical discharges. The question of whether to eliminate the AFCI breaker requirement in the 2002 National Electrical Code, or NEC, involves several considerations. Firstly, let's address the cost factor. AFCI breakers are generally more expensive than traditional circuit breakers. This increased cost can impact the overall expense of electrical installations, potentially making new construction or renovations more expensive for homeowners and businesses. Secondly, we consider the limited effectiveness of AFCI breakers. While they are designed to detect and interrupt arcing faults, some studies have questioned their real-world effectiveness in preventing all types of electrical fires. The effectiveness can vary depending on the specific type of arcing fault and the characteristics of the electrical system. Thirdly, the concern of false alarms is important. AFCI breakers are known to sometimes trip unnecessarily, causing inconvenience to occupants. These nuisance trips can be disruptive, especially if they affect essential circuits such as lighting or refrigeration. It's also worth noting specific risks associated with AFCI breakers. They may not be as effective in protecting against electrical fires in all situations. For instance, if a fire is caused by overheated wires rather than arcing, an AFCI breaker may not provide adequate protection. On the other hand, there are arguments for retaining the AFCI breaker requirement. One of the primary arguments is increased safety. AFCI breakers have been shown to reduce the likelihood of electrical fires in residential buildings, particularly in bedrooms and living rooms where many electrical appliances and devices are used. It's also a matter of code compliance. Adopting the 2002 NEC without the AFCI breaker requirement would not align with the current national standard for electrical safety. Most jurisdictions that have adopted newer editions of the NEC include requirements for AFCI protection. Public health is a significant factor. Electrical fires can cause substantial property damage, injuries, and even fatalities. AFCI breakers help mitigate these risks by detecting and interrupting potentially dangerous arcing faults. When making a decision about AFCI breaker requirements, it's essential to thoroughly review the relevant research and evidence on their effectiveness and limitations. This includes examining studies, reports, and data from organizations such as the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, and the Consumer Product Safety Commission, or CPSC. Consider the specific risks and needs of the community. Factors such as the prevalence of residential construction, the age of existing housing stock, and the history of electrical fires in the area should be taken into account. Consulting with experts is beneficial. Seek input from electricians, fire safety professionals, and code officials to gain a comprehensive understanding of the issue. These experts can provide valuable insights based on their experience and knowledge. Weighing the costs and benefits of eliminating the AFCI breaker requirement carefully is paramount. Consider the potential financial implications for homeowners and businesses, as well as the potential impact on public safety. If there are legitimate concerns about the effectiveness or practicality of AFCI breakers, consider proposing an amendment to the 2002 NEC that addresses those concerns. For example, you could require AFCI breakers only in specific areas such as bedrooms and living rooms, where the risk of electrical fires is highest. Alternatively, one could allow for exceptions for certain types of electrical installations where AFCI breakers are not suitable or necessary. This could include installations where other forms of protection are already in place or where the use of AFCI breakers would create additional hazards. When evaluating the effectiveness of AFCI breakers, it's important to understand how they work and what types of faults they are designed to detect. AFCI breakers use sophisticated electronic circuitry to monitor the electrical current in a circuit and detect the unique characteristics of arcing faults. Arc faults can occur for various reasons, including damaged or degraded wiring, loose connections, and faulty appliances. These faults can generate heat and sparks, which can ignite nearby combustible materials and cause a fire. There are two main types of AFCI breakers: branch or feeder AFCI breakers and combination AFCI breakers. Branch or feeder AFCI breakers are designed to protect against arcing faults in the branch circuit wiring, which is the wiring that extends from the circuit breaker panel to the outlets and fixtures in a building. Combination of AFCI breakers provide both branch or feeder arc fault protection and ground fault protection. Ground faults occur where electrical current flows through an unintended path to ground, such as through a person's body. In addition to understanding how AFCI breakers work, it's also important to be aware of their limitations. AFCI breakers are not designed to protect against all types of electrical hazards. For example, they do not protect against overloads, short circuits, or shocks from direct contact with energized conductors. It's also worth noting that AFCI breakers can be affected by certain types of electrical equipment and appliances. Some electronic devices, such as older model televisions and computers, can generate electrical noise that can interfere with the operation of AFCI breakers and cause them to trip unnecessarily. When considering the cost of AFCI breakers, it's important to weigh the cost against the potential benefits. While AFCI breakers are more expensive than traditional circuit breakers, they can provide a significant level of protection against electrical fires. The cost of an electrical fire can be substantial, including property damage, injuries, and even loss of life. In addition to the direct costs of a fire, there are also indirect costs to consider, such as the cost of insurance premiums, lost productivity, and emotional distress. When evaluating the potential for false alarms, it's important to consider the factors that can cause AFCI breakers to trip unnecessarily. Some common causes of false alarms include electrical noise from electronic devices, loose wiring connections, and faulty appliances. It's also worth noting that AFCI breakers are more likely to trip in older homes with outdated wiring. If false alarms are a concern, there are steps that can be taken to reduce the likelihood of nuisance trips. These include ensuring that all wiring connections are tight and secure, replacing older appliances with newer models that generate less electrical noise, and installing surge protectors to protect against voltage spikes. When considering the specific risks associated with AFCI breakers, it's important to be aware of the situations in which they may not be as effective. For example, AFCI breakers may not provide adequate protection against fires caused by overheated wires, which can occur when wires are overloaded or improperly installed. In these situations, other forms of protection, such as thermal overload protection, may be necessary. When adopting or updating an electrical code, it's important to consider the specific needs and circumstances of the community. Factors such as the age of the housing stock, the prevalence of electrical hazards, and the availability of qualified electricians should all be taken into account. It's also important to involve stakeholders in the code development process, including electricians, fire safety professionals, and members of the public. This can help ensure that the code is effective, practical, and meets the needs of the community. In addition to considering the technical aspects of AFCI breakers, it's also important to consider the legal and regulatory implications of adopting or eliminating the AFCI breaker requirement. Electrical codes are typically adopted and enforced by local or state governments. It's important to ensure that any changes to the electrical code are consistent with applicable laws and regulations. It's also important to provide adequate training and education to electricians and other stakeholders on any changes to the electrical code. This can help ensure that the code is properly implemented and enforced. Ultimately, the decision of whether to eliminate the AFCI breaker requirement is a complex one that requires careful consideration of the costs, benefits, and risks. There is no one-size-fits-all answer, and the best approach will vary depending on the specific circumstances of the community. By thoroughly evaluating the available evidence, consulting with experts, and involving stakeholders in the decision-making process, it's possible to make an informed decision that will protect the safety and well-being of the community. Consider that the 2002 NEC, while a specific reference point, is now significantly outdated. Modern electrical codes, like the 2020 or 2023 NEC, have evolved and may offer more nuanced approaches to AFCI protection. Before making any decisions based on the 2002 NEC, it would be prudent to review the latest editions of the code and any relevant amendments or interpretations that may have been issued by your local authority. The NEC undergoes regular revisions to incorporate new technologies, address emerging safety concerns, and improve the overall effectiveness of electrical installations. Staying current with the latest code requirements is essential for ensuring the safety of electrical systems. Moreover, AFCI technology has advanced since 2002. Newer AFCI breakers may offer improved performance, reduced nuisance tripping, and enhanced diagnostic capabilities. These advancements may address some of the concerns that were prevalent with earlier generations of AFCI breakers. When evaluating AFCI breakers, consider the different types available and their specific features. Some AFCI breakers offer dual-function protection, combining arc fault and ground fault protection in a single device. Others offer self-testing capabilities, which can help ensure that the breaker is functioning properly. The location of electrical outlets and appliances within a building can also influence the effectiveness of AFCI protection. In areas where there is a higher risk of arcing faults, such as kitchens and laundry rooms, AFCI protection may be particularly beneficial. When evaluating the need for AFCI protection in a specific area, consider the potential sources of arcing faults and the potential consequences of an electrical fire. It is crucial to have qualified and licensed electricians perform all electrical work. Improperly installed or maintained electrical systems can increase the risk of arcing faults and other electrical hazards. Ensure that all electrical work is performed in accordance with the NEC and other applicable codes and standards. In addition to AFCI breakers, there are other safety devices that can help protect against electrical fires. These include ground fault circuit interrupters, or AFCIs, which protect against electric shock, and surge protectors, which protect against voltage spikes. Consider using a combination of safety devices to provide comprehensive protection against electrical hazards. Reviewing the history of electrical fires in the area is essential. Understanding the causes and consequences of past electrical fires can help inform decisions about electrical safety measures. Analyzing data on electrical fires can identify trends and patterns that may indicate specific risks or vulnerabilities. It is important to consider the long-term costs and benefits of AFCI protection. While AFCI breakers may have a higher initial cost, they can potentially save lives and prevent property damage in the event of an electrical fire. Evaluating the long-term costs and benefits of AFCI protection can help justify the investment. There are resources available to help understand and implement electrical codes and standards. These resources include training courses, publications, and online tools. Taking advantage of these resources can help ensure that are up to date on the latest electrical safety practices. Regular inspections of electrical systems can help identify potential hazards and ensure that electrical systems are properly maintained. Consider implementing a regular inspection program for buildings in the community. The NEC is a complex and comprehensive document. Understanding the NEC requires dedicated effort and ongoing training. Investing in training and education can help ensure that electrical systems are installed and maintained in accordance with the NEC. It is important to stay informed about changes to the NEC. The NEC is updated every 3 years to reflect new technologies and address emerging safety concerns. Staying informed about changes to the NEC can help ensure that electrical systems are up to date with the latest safety requirements. Consulting with electrical engineers can provide valuable insights into the design and installation of electrical systems. Electrical engineers can help ensure that electrical systems are safe, efficient, and compliant with applicable codes and standards. Consider establishing a process for reviewing and approving electrical plans. This can help ensure that electrical systems are designed and installed in accordance with the NEC and other applicable codes and standards. It is important to enforce electrical codes consistently and effectively. Consistent enforcement of electrical codes can help ensure that all electrical systems are installed and maintained to the same safety standards. There are penalties for violating electrical codes. These penalties can include fines, imprisonment, and revocation of licenses. Consistent enforcement of penalties can help deter violations of electrical codes. It is important to educate the public about electrical safety. Educating the public about electrical safety can help prevent electrical fires and other electrical hazards. Consider implementing a public awareness campaign to educate the public about electrical safety. There are many resources available to help educate the public about electrical safety. These resources include brochures, websites, and public service announcements.